Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of the Points of Articulation. My name's Dave and if you're new to the channel, welcome. So today I'm looking at the Hot Wheels Star Wars Starships Select Anakin Skywalker's Jedi Interceptor. It's number 22 in the set and released in 2024. This ship was first seen in Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, released in 2005. Now, in my opinion, Hot Wheels has done a fantastic job at bringing this ship to life. Now, enough of me yapping, let's get right to the review. For those who are new to my channel, what I like to do is look at the ship. We're going to go over the major parts, then zoom in to show all of you at home all those hidden details, where your money's going. Then we're going to put it on a stand, look at the paint, discuss other dimensions, compare it to some other pieces, and then we'll be done. So let's get started. Alright, looking at Anakin's Jedi Interceptor, just like in all my videos, I will go over all the major parts, and then we'll get a nice close-up look to see those fine details. So this ship has a lot going for it, not just with a decent mold, but with a lot of moving parts first. So I'll cover all the major sections, look at the moving parts, and then we'll move on from there. So, the major parts, we have our cockpit, which looks really cool. I love the detailing on there, especially in the front viewport, like a TIE fighter, looking dope. Then we have our astromech, which rotates. Right here we have our laser cannons, and on the sides we have our ion cannons, looking pretty cool. Right here for our wings, we have our radiator panels, which do open. You can see the detailing on the outside, and then the interior looks very much like a TIE fighter. I think that's really cool. In the aft, we have our engines, nicely done and painted. And on the bottom, we have 3 rivets holding it together, a peg port, and some copyright crap. But very nice. Now for the moving parts, the radiator panels are just on this little hinge, so they could just fold shut or open. Same goes for this side. And to get them open, they have little notches right here, but even with my nails, they don't really want to open, as you can see. Even if I take it and try and push it to open up the bottom one, that doesn't work. So what I do is I take my nail and put it in this little crevice, and then that normally gets it up. See? Like that. So if you get one of these, just watch out for that they don't open that easily. Maybe it's just mine, but just thought I would mention it. Now the R2 unit, nicely detailed. We'll have a closer look, but it rotates, which is nice. You can see it is hindered by the mold. So R2 could face the cockpit and then rotate all the way around up until it's looking that way. So pretty nice range of motion. It only can't look in this direction right here, but really cool. I love the fact that the astromech can rotate, and it's a nice touch. They didn't even need to do that, but it adds a lot of posability. So all in all, that is all the major parts of the ship. Hopefully I covered everything, so now let's get a closer look. Alright, having a closer look, we'll begin looking at the top of the vessel, the engines, the underneath, and then we'll look at the detailing associated with the moving parts. So at the top, we have some great line work, looking really neat. We have our ion cannon up at the top. Some nice designs coming down the main part. And then here we have the top of our radiator panel, looking really cool. And then coming towards the aft, looking sharp. Now one thing I did want to point out is this, I call it the collar that goes around here. And we're going to take a closer look at that in just a few, because it's also on this side, as we can see here. But coming at the bottom of the ship, again, some great line work, our ion cannon, and then coming to the bottom. You can see some beautiful designs here, nicely done. Now the astromech here, if I take the head and rotate it, we can see that R2's shoulders are here. They're not painted, but the lower body and the two shoulders are there. You can see the detailing on his dome, which looks pretty good, and the paint is almost spot on. Fantastic work there. Pretty cool. Now we also have our laser cannons on the sides, and you can see they are nicely detailed. Giant long tubes, and they go right into this section right here. But all in all, really detailed. The paint coming down is a little spotty, but I am super zoomed in, so you really don't notice it from a distance. But really cool. The fronts are just rounded, and then right here in the front you can see little tiny recesses, but nicely done nonetheless. Coming down the side, you can see some nice detailing. Looking good. Some of the details are sort of rounded out because of the paint. We have this little hinge here for the moving part. And then coming to the back right here. Nice. The same goes for this side. Nothing really to write home about. We have our ion cannon, the little doodads here, the hinge, and then the aft where it comes up to the main body. So pretty cool. Now one thing I wanted to talk about was this little collar piece. And you can see how it's sort of like a lightning bolt. So that's kind of cool. And it has a curve to it. You can't really see it that well. Like right there you can. But when the light hits it, you can see how the light bends. See that right there where my finger was? Let me see if I can get it. There it is. See that bend? It's like a nice curve on there. And I dig that. It's the same for this side. Sort of curves up. You can see it right here where the light is sort of warping. That's pretty neat. And on the interior, we have that nice detail that goes up right here. Same for this side. There we go. So that's pretty cool. They didn't even need to do something like that, but I appreciate it. For the center, for the viewport, the windows are recessed in, and it looks fantastic. Nice and clean. Then we have our main windows here, and they are recessed in as well, which is nice. Paint's clean as well. And you can see the little tiny line that curves up, because as we know, this piece is supposed to open and then the Jedi could jump out. We have miniature line work going around here and some molding. Nothing to really write home about, but it is there. And then we have our aft section. I like this little diamond shape here. And then look at the engines. We have the blue and the dark gray. Molded very nice. Pretty cool. For the underneath, we have 3 rivets holding it together, peg port for the stand, some copyright crap, little rub off inside from the stand. But look at the detailing. Line work, nice molding, very clean on the underneath of here. Really cool. I'm actually impressed. Coming down the wing, we can see some line work. This nice module here. There's our ion cannon and some beautiful molding coming down. That is cool. Same for this side. Line work, the molding, ion cannon, and rest of the detail right here. And if I turn it like this, you could see it's not flat. You have some raised sections, doodads. This is great. Turning it this way, pretty cool. And that does it for the main mold. Now we already went over R2. I sort of jumped the gun there, but you could tell there's this little projector, his sensor or eye. Everything's detailed very nice. Now for the interior of the radiator panels, it's a little hard to open these, but for right here you can see the great molding. That looks cool. And you can see where it's recessed in, so this sort of lays flush in there. Nice detailing. Now the detail is the same on both sides, so I'm only going to focus on one. So that's awesome. Now if I open the bottom, there we go. You can see the detail in there. Pretty cool. And I love the negative space. That's a nice touch. Alright, I had to play with the light a little bit to get a good shot of the interior here, but we could see some painted sections, and the radiator panel has sort of like a Eggo waffle formation. You know, all those little boxes. So that's pretty cool. And it shuts just like so. Looking at the top here. Alright, again, I had to play with the light to get a good shot of that, but we could see all the nooks and crannies of that radiator panel. Looking pretty good. So all in all, I really do think this is a fantastic looking ship. And that's everything I have to say about the mold. In short, this is a fantastic piece. Lots of detail, great moving parts. So now, let's put it on a stand and look at the paint. Looking at the stand for the Jedi Interceptor, first we have our base plate, which has a nice Republic symbol and Jedi Interceptor printed on it. On front, we have Star Wars and Hot Wheels molded into the plastic. And then underneath, copyright crap. So grab your pylon, put it in like so, hear that click. And just like that, you're ready to get your ship. Put the peg into the port like so, press down. And just like that, everybody, you are good to go. Looking at Anakin's Jedi Interceptor, for the paint, this has 10 different colors working together. We have gray, yellow, black, light yellow, maroon, silver, blue, glossy black, light blue, and a nice wash. For the ship's size, it comes in at 3.08 inches or 78.41 millimeters in length. For the ship's weight, it comes in at 2.3 ounces or 67.1 grams. For a quick size comparison with the Starships Select Anakin Skywalker's Jedi Interceptor seen in the center, first on the right hand side we have Ahsoka Tano's T6 Jedi Shuttle, and then on the left hand side we have the Jedi Starfighter. All these ships are looking sweet, and if you want to see reviews of any of them, check the links in the description below. And that does it today for my review of the Hot Wheels Star Wars Starships Select Anakin Skywalker's Jedi Interceptor. It's number 22 in the set and released in 2024. Now I'm going to keep this short and sweet. The mold looks fantastic. Lots of tiny details, moving parts such as the opening radiator panels, and R2 even rotates. Awesome. Looking at the paint, it doesn't matter if it's the open circle fleet emblem, the Republic symbol, or even that great paint on R2. They did a fantastic job on here. So the mold's a win, the paint's a win, the stand is pretty cool as well. And that's everything I have to say about this cool looking ship today. If you enjoyed this video, please smash that like button, show me some support. And as always, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to watch my show. I greatly appreciate it more than you know. Without all of you, I would not be here right now talking about these ships. So thank you so much. So bye for now, and I hope to see you guys next time. Bye, everybody. Now, I tried to get a cool angle here. I don't know if it's working. Let me know in the comments below. Oh, boy. 2005. I know for some of us, we weren't born yet, but I remember that day like it was yesterday. Running home because I knew as soon as my father got home, we're going to go see Revenge of the Sith. It was an event film in my area anyway. We had tons of people going to see it. And it was a great film, well worth the time and money. You know, it was something that, as a memory, I will cherish. But the film itself has lasted decades. Everybody still is very fond of the film. And in that movie, we had Jedi Interceptors, brand new designs, upgrades, if you will, from the Jedi Starfighters. To me, these were the link, the bridge between the prequels and the originals. It has the look of a Jedi ship, but many aspects were leading to Imperial designs, such as the viewport in the front, the radiator panels opening to look like TIE fighter wings. Amazing stuff.